What is up, self-made Homestead family? Look, if you've been following along in my build series, we've been building a lot of off-grid fun stuff. So in the last episode, we built an off-grid pellet-powered rocket stove called the Pellet Pocket Rocket. The link to that video is in the description. That thing generates heat in an off-grid situation and allows you to cook. I'll be using some of that 3-inch square tube that you see back here to build a full-size version of that now that we've got proof of concept. Stay tuned for that video. But the next series is about this. This is a Vitamaster 53C, or as I like to call it, the power plant for the self-made, self-powered basement. In this series, I am turning this exercise bike into a 500-watt off-grid generator for my entire basement. I'm even gonna see if I can weld with it, y'all. Stay tuned and watch this series. In episode 1, I'm gonna introduce you to the components we're gonna need. That's today. In episode 2, we're gonna build the frame and install the trays. And in episode 3, we're gonna build the power bank. So, without further ado, welcome to the Maye'd self-made, self-powered series, giving you your literal power back. Okay, so as I said in the intro, this is a Vitamaster 53C. I don't know if they make them anymore, but that's fine because it meets the following criteria. It's chain driven, meaning you use a bicycle chain in the internals. It's also got a freewheel, which means when you're not pedaling, it's still spinning. Very important in a generator situation to keep you from breaking the motor. So I'm gonna take this case off and show you what we're working with. Okay, so I've taken the covers off and this is what we've got. If you look at this thing, forward is this way, right? If you've ever ridden a bike before, you know usually the wheel goes in the back, but this is awesome because this is gonna allow me to do some pretty cool stuff. Now, I've taken the covers off, I've taken the pedals off because I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade those. But look, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's got a bicycle freewheel on it, so when I'm cranking, it's engaged. And when I'm not, it's still generating. So, this is important because instead of using the chain drive, I'm pretty sure I'm going to use the belt drive. So let me show you how that works. I'll get the parts together and I'll show you what we need, but this is a great start. So if you're looking to do this project on your own, grab an exercise bike that is chain driven and hopefully has a counterweight like this one, because that, see how it's still moving? Forward motion means that when you're not pedaling, it's still generating energy when you use that as a belt drive, which is what we're gonna do. So let me go grab the parts and I'll show you what we're doing, but here's what we did. We took the covers off. It had a resistance band that goes on that pulley, but now I'm not gonna use it. And those are the pedals. So I took those off, used soap and water to clean everything up. It wasn't in bad shape. I'll find out how old this thing is, but it looks to be in really good shape. So I'll keep that initial powertrain and build onto it with the generator motor. So I'll show you that next. Okay, so here's what we've got. That's the stock chain wheel and freewheel running the counterweight. This has got a belt drive on it for the resistance band I showed you earlier. So now I'm running a belt on this Maye'd 1020 500 watt scooter motor. It's designed for like razor scooters or electric go-karts. It's a 24 volt motor. Now, I'm doing this on a piece of 3-inch square tube that I had left over from our chimney build, which is why I've got the ability to run all 4 of these batteries in series. I'm gonna make them 24 volt, but each one of them is 9 amp hour. So 4 times 9, that's 36 amp hours. In the event of an emergency, I'll be able to use this as a power bank, generating 36 amp hours worth of backup power for the light system here at the house that can be regenerated every time I crank and topped off. So I'm gonna use a piece of 3-inch square tube with a couple of pieces of 1.5-inch angle iron on the top of them to create a channel for the batteries to sit in like a tray. And then I'll put a piece of rubber on there so it's non-conductive. I have some of that left over from the welding cart build. Also, after that, we've got the charge controller. I'm gonna run that at a 45 so I can see it from the pedaling position. So pedaling looking this way, bam, the charge controller is gonna sit somewhere at the end of the series. So the math for me, 32 inches long, it's 7 3/4 wide from here to here, but I'm only gonna use 3.5 of that back here on this side. So 3.5-inch square tube all the way down. I'll put a bracket in so that I can mount the motor off a flat strap at the end of it. And then for the balance, I said 32 inches. You see we're at about 30. So for the balance of it, I'll go vertical at 45 degrees so that the charge controller can be up and I can run the power on the back side over here from back to front and then up to the charge controller. All right, so let me get to fabbing these brackets and I'll check back in. All right, real quick status update. So I've got all 4 batteries laid out here. The next step in this process is laying out the angle iron that they sit in for the charging process. But I've got the generator motor here lined up and I've got the positive and negative terminals run to my meter. Wanted to show you something really quick. So meter's on. Positive engagement of the crank, meaning pedaling forward like you would if you're training. We're generating power, y'all. See? And that's just a steady power. So that's step 1 in the process. Next, we'll fab the brackets, get the batteries mounted, and we'll go from there. I'm excited. All right, there it is, y'all. The motor mount and the battery brackets. So I got everything prettied up with the wire cut brush, which is one of my favorite ways to get rid of any kind of slag or any loose particulates on the metal prior to paint. But check it out. So batteries fit in, right? Nice and even all the way through. No snags or bind ups. Nice and clean. Okay. They're ready to look. One more time. Nice and uniform. Always use the object you're going to be fabbing custom brackets for to make that a reality. Make them nice and clean. You only get one shot at it unless you feel like breaking out your grinder and cutting stuff out. Also, side note, look at these welds. I'm really excited about how those came out on that galvanized. I don't think, actually, no, I just had a galvanized hot dip paint on it. I flap disc through that to prove that that's just steel tube, which is awesome. Look at it. Nice and clean, huh? Yeah. Okay, so next step, this gets some paint. Then I'm gonna fab some brackets for it and mount it to the frame. Check back after that happens. Okay, there she is, y'all. Painted and curing. Episode 1 is complete. I'll give you a quick walk around of this. A lot of people ask me about metal prep, finished metal prep that is, after you've welded everything, how you put it together to make it clean. I'll show you. So in most settings, I like to use one of these, a wire cut brush on my angle grinder. Always use eye protection when you use these because it's important. This 8,500 RPMs is fast. Those are metal shards, but that cleans up all your weld spatter. That cleans up all your welds to make them nice and pretty. Notice there's no flashing in any other welds. It's nice and clean. Look, looks really, really pro. Nice and clean. But yeah, that's how I do it. And in this order is how I apply the paint. First, universal bonding primer Then I went with a coastal gray base coat and a gloss clear. Follow the instructions, make sure you have ample cure time between coats, and you'll be good to go. Also notice, I made a bracket, like an angle iron stop, that also serves as a tensioner and a stop for the torque that's created by pedaling. So it won't want to twist up. In fact, the bike will twist up before this will when it's not loaded. Meaning when you're not sitting on it, the back end of the bike will pick up before this will, which is another reason why I extended it a little bit longer, in addition to wanting to incorporate all the batteries in the tray. But that's it. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and share. That's step one in how to make an off-grid, bike-powered, you-powered generator, bringing you your power back. Self-made Homestead. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in video 2, where we install everything. Peace.